All right, we are live with an instant reaction podcast. The Patriots have drafted a wide receiver. Everyone was clamoring for speed, 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 speed on the outside at wide receiver. Everyone said you have to draft a wide receiver because you cannot possibly compete with the teams in the AFC without that. And guess what? We did it, and everyone's pissed about it.
All right, no, we need to get. So we were waiting to get everybody in and talk.
As you can see, I did put in that someone's TV is wicked loud out of you two.
Yeah, that's Keegan.
Showing in the chat.
Oh, okay. All right, you guys talk. Give me a second.
No, I like what you said. Another one of those. Hey, I think the biggest problem with some of fans in terms of like the draft is you obviously, right? Everybody does it. Everybody's accustomed to it. You fall in love with these type of players, whether it be right like a Sky Moore there, or like a George Pickens or Nakobe Dean, right? But somebody like Tyquan Thornton, you don't hear as much about. Went to Baylor, didn't have a lot of great quarterback play over the time of there, but a 3-year starter, 4.28 speed. Like you said, they haven't had speed on the outside or at the wide receiver position for years now. That's something that they needed to address, and they get that at this pick. 4.28 speed. I don't care who you are, that plays. That'll play.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw a tweet that said they just drafted Bethel Johnson again. I think it was Brian. That's funny. That's very funny. And I do want to get like real reactions, because before we were waiting on Spags for a minute and Pat was pissed. So let's all be serious about this. Let's all give our real thoughts, because I don't want any Homer Patriots talk.
Right.
No, that was a reach. They could have got him in the 5th round.
And I don't know about that, but I mean, like, he's not in the PFF draft guide.
My opinion.
You think he could have gone in the 5th round? I believe so. I think the same thing. I don't know about the 5th round, but like I do believe that that they certainly could have drafted him a lot later than they did. Now, what I will say is that they knew a run of wide receivers was coming right after this pick, or I guess 2 picks later after this pick. George Pickens went to Pittsburgh, and then
Sky
right
Moore
after that,
drafted.
Alec Pierce went, and now Sky Moore gets drafted by who? Kansas City.
Yep, that's
Sky Moore's drafted by Kansas City. So the Patriots are looking at it saying, there's a run of wide receivers coming. We're going to trade up, by the way, using the pick that they got in the Devontae Parker trade. So we use the pick that we get in the Devontae Parker trade. We move up and we get the guy that we want. I don't like it. I don't think he's the guy you want in the 2nd freaking round. But like, listen, we've been clamoring for speed. We've been saying you're slow and you have to get faster and you have to get faster. And the NFL is all speed. And now they draft a fast guy, and I'm not happy about it, but I'm kind of like, well, I'm an asshole because I'm not happy about it now. And I've been saying they need more speed, and they draft a guy that's fast. Like, what I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with it, especially now, like you said, there's a run of wide receivers going. You give this guy you put this guy on like a Kansas City or a team like that, like they'll make
people
it work.
Are thrilled,
right? Yeah, it's something you look back on in 5 years, right? I mean, obviously they do a much better job developing these guys, and I think the big thing too with this guy, bringing him in at this point, experience, like I said, 3-year starter. He's not going to have to come in and contribute right away. Because I think you're going to see a lot of Devontae Parker at the X. You obviously have Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar. If he's on the team, I think this might be a little bit of a telltale sign that he's on the way out. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it's kind of fitting that role. And like I said, Jacoby Myers. So they might be able to kind of, take their time with this kid, kind of really try to develop him for once, one of these receivers. But, hey, they took a wide receiver, the fastest one in the class, inside the top 50. Which is something it's not the names that you all fall in love with on the PFF mock draft, and like the Sky Moores and everybody that, you know what I mean? Like, that's what just drives me crazy about everybody. And the same thing with like Nakobe Dean. There's a reason that this guy is falling down the draft board. He's 5'11", 220 pounds, and he's I think he's a fantastic player. Somebody that will play in the league and will certainly have a spot for him, but he's scheme specific. Like, they're not going to draft a 5'11", 220 pound linebacker when they have Kyle Duggar that can play the same role.
He's a safety. Yep.
It's like Jeremiah or Owusu-Koramoah last year, the same argument that people have with that. It's like, you have a guy on that on the roster. I know I'm blabbing, but you all complained about wanting speed and wide receiver inside the top 50. You just got it, and it's not the guy that you picked on your 1,000 mock drafts that you wanted. So that's why I'm angry with people that have a problem with this pick.
Yeah, so they've done the same
Sorry.
thing twice in a row now. Where, with Strange, I think we all know, like, I loved Cole Strange, but I was like, that's a terrible pick in the first round. Why did you take a first round pick on a guard who was probably going to be available later on? I feel the same way about Tyquan Thornton. I'm not going to act like I watched every game he played in his college career. I didn't. What I've seen of him, it's like the flashes are there. And if you can get a guy who can get him the ball downfield, you're looking at a home run threat. But also, I don't think there was a single person on Twitter has tweeted about Tyquan Thornton today, which,
Right.
And that's just the world we live in, where that's how we view things. It's who's talking about him. No one was talking about him today until the Patriots drafted him. I am very excited to see what they do with him because, like you said, Spags, Kendrick Bourne, Devontae Parker, Jacoby Myers, those guys are locks to have significant reps at wide receiver. Nelson Aguilar, is he going to be on the roster? Are they going to try to move on from him? Who knows? N'Keal Harry's gone. Like, if they can't find a trade partner, they'll just cut him. And then they've got a ton of young guys like Christian Wilkerson and your boy that they drafted
Trey
last
Nixon.
year, Trey Nixon.
Woo!
So I just wonder, if you're drafting a guy in the second round, you don't want to wait a year. I would imagine that you want to get him onto the field and going immediately. But that just doesn't sound like the Patriots and what they do. It sounds like they're going to want to slow burn this one. And I think that's disappointing when you take a wide receiver in the second round. You're going to try to slow burn it. But that's me projecting. Who knows what they do? But that's just the way I view things right now.
I can't imagine they do. I can't imagine they do it that way. It would be dumb to me. It would be stupid, for them to say, "Hey, we're not even going to throw him on the field." You get the Foxborough flu and he won't play for the year. I just feel like maybe he won't be the number one receiver this year, but you got to get him on the field. You got to kind of get him running routes. You got to get him in the weight room a little bit because he's 6'3", 177. So he's small, but he's got long arms. He's insanely fast. And he's not the best route runner in the world, but he's a pretty damn good route runner for the size that he is. Now, his shuttle and his 3-cone wasn't great. So you want a little bit more of that quick twitch athleticism from him. But at the same time, if a guy can run good routes and he can just smoke everybody else down the field, I don't know what else you really want from the guy, So again, we wanted speed. We asked for speed. I wanted George Pickens or Alec Pierce because they both ran well and they were both big. And, Pickens has some off-field issues. Pierce went a little bit earlier than expected. Like, all of these things are there, fine. The guy I left was John Mechie. He went earlier. So we wanted all these guys, but we got a guy who's super fast, who we're going to put into the lineup. And the Patriots, again, they didn't sit there. I'm sorry, it's Spags. They traded in front of the wide receiver run, knowing it was coming because this was the guy that they wanted. And so to me, hate Belichick and say he's stupid and has no idea what he's doing. Fine. But this is the guy he wanted. So you kind of have to trust him.
I just people think it's John Ross. John Ross was 5'9", like 175 pounds and a gadget guy.
Yes.
Like, this dude's 6'3", 180 with room to add more weight to his frame with 4.28 speed that can play kind of all over. I don't hate it, right? Like I said, you're not bringing him in right now to be your number one wide receiver like you would have saw last night with those 6 guys that went in the top 15 or whatever it was. Like, there's time to develop these guys. Has their history been great at that? No, but that's a conversation that doesn't really relate to this. Like I said, you all wanted speed, you all wanted size, you wanted an improvement at the wide receiver position, and you got it. So stop complaining because it's not the guy you wanted in your mock draft. You know what I mean? You can't complain about something that you wanted. So
yeah, I wonder how they had him graded compared to Jameson Williams, because very similar player in terms of like the role they play, similar size. Who knows what JMO would have tested out at? Like, we just don't know because he had the torn ACL, so he didn't test. It feels like a Patriots wide receiver move to where they would be like, well, there's better value here in the second round than the first round with Jameson Williams. We have him graded higher. That's very funny to me. And I would really like to see that. So who knows? Maybe they had a top 30 visit with him. I think Mike Reese reported that like late in the process they visited with Thornton. So maybe they just really like his football acumen and everything that he possesses, they don't have in their wide receiver room. So I'm not mad at the pick at all. I'm not mad at the player at all. I do think it was a reach. And you guys can attest to the fact that I didn't really – when did I ever talk wide receiver other than, first round? Just because I love Chris Olave. like Alec Pierce never did it for me. Christian Watson never did it for me. Tyquan Thornton, like I guess, but what are you doing on defense? Like what are we doing, guys? That's where I'm at. So I think
I mean, they have 2 more picks tonight. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they still have their 2 4th-rounders tomorrow. There's certainly enough ammo there to move one of the 3rd and 4th to move up if somebody that they like kind of falls.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they like some of the moves they've already made, like Peppers is a vet who's going to contribute right away. I think Mac Wilson will have a bigger role. We've talked about McMillan and McGrone. So maybe they feel like that linebacker room is a little bit further along than we do. They obviously see those guys every day. I don't know. I personally was vouching for a defensive player. Like I loved Christian Harris and Troy Anderson, guys like that would have been play there. But I'm not going to complain about a 6'3" wide receiver that runs a 4.28. That plays. Sorry.
Right. And that's the thing. And we can be upset about it, and we could say, they reached and they did that and they did this and they did that. But like until they get on the field and we see them, it's just not. I don't know what else you want me to say. And you're going to say the consensus board. The consensus board, they were super low. I don't care about the stupid consensus board. Like, it doesn't matter to me because guess what? NFL executives, if they have a brain, they don't care about the consensus board. They're going off of what they see. They do this as this is their job. And they got 100 guys doing it. They all work for the team and they're all breaking down film and they're all looking at guys and they're all breaking down other things. To me, I don't know why, we have such a hard time understanding that, right? So that's the thing to me. Hey, listen, and again, it's not like 6 wide receivers went and the Patriots like, oh crap, we better trade up and get a wide receiver. No, this is the beginning. They started the wide receiver run. They got the guy that they wanted. Maybe you think Bill Belichick sucks. Maybe you don't trust Bill Belichick. Maybe you think he's lost his mojo. It's funny, though, because last year when he drafted Mac Jones and Christian Barmore and Ramondre Stevenson, everyone seemed to think that they were doing well, and he was listening to the people that he was working with. Right? Appreciate that, Big Burn Theory. I do have the Curtis Martin, old school Curtis Martin on. It was interesting though. We talked about he's finally listening to the people that work underneath him. Last year, he's finally listening to those people. This year, he's not listening to those people. He's an idiot. He's stupid. He's 70. He's senile. Fire him. Send him out to pasture. Old Yeller him in the back. Stop it. Stop it. Either he's using the guys there or he's not. Like I'm all set with all that garbage. Like either trust him or don't trust him. I don't care. But like you can't completely change your tune from last year. Like this is what you get. And so if you're going to trust Bill Belichick, I choose to trust him. If you choose not to, that's fine.
All right, we'll be back.
We'll see you pick 83. Yeah.
Pick 83. Let's do it.
Whenever it is.
Troy Anderson.